Hello, everyone. I hope you all are staying safe. And I believe that the COVID situation is coming a bit normal. Everyone is getting along. The whole world and economies are coming back to a standardized form. So that is good. I hope you got your booster shots and all that and keeping safe. Well, so it's been a while since I had my last video uploaded. I'm aware of that. Sorry, I've been dragged into a whole lot of businesses to deal with, the task to complete, but I've been taking queries and reading charts almost every week, in fact, so I haven't been out of touch from my end. So let's get on with it. Rahu Kethu Payatchi, or Rahu Kethu transit, is set to happen on the 12th of April. So we've got about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks to get there. I think it happens on a Wednesday. On the 12th of April, I think in, let's say, Delhi time, it's somewhere around 2 p.m. in the afternoon, of course. And 2 days after that, so on the 14th of April, so it's around New Year, Tamil New Year's time. So you have Jupiter transiting from Aquarius going into Pisces, which is from Kumbham to going into Meenam. So from the air element house, Jupiter is going into a water element house. So what does that all mean for the 12 Rasis? I'm going to talk about that in this video. Right. So the main theme would be Rahu Kethu transit. It's only because other than a Saturn transit, Sunny's transit, which is quite devastating if he's moving to your Janma Raasi or to your Janma house where your moon is placed. If Sunny is going across the moon of your birth chart, then of course you have Janma Sunny, and that is devastating. Or from your moon, wherever your moon is placed, Sunny is going through the 8th house, you get Ashtama Sunny. And these two, Janma Sunny, Ashtama Sunny, they are the most devastating, they're the most challenging. The native, the experiencer would experience tremendous amount of challenges. If you were to talk to a Midhuna Raasi native now, they will tell you how their life is. And if you speak to a Magra Raasi person, Tiruvonam Natchatram native especially, you ask them today how they're feeling. Well, please leave a comment below. Those who are going through a challenging time. And we are here to sort of like a forum, like a landscape where you can talk about what you're going through. We are all here to help each other, right? To create like a cushion effect, to let you know at least these natives, what they're experiencing is not. They're not alone, okay? There are others who are going through a similar situation, regardless whether you're an Indian or not, whether you're born in India or not. I've got clients from Germany, from Canada, from the US, yes, from some Asian countries. Yeah, the effect is the same. Karma is karma. You have to go through it. Anyway, why am I talking about Sunny? Sunny's transit, malefic. You've got the primary influence, malefic influence, of course. Second to Sunny, the malefic effect transit is carried out by Rahu Kethu. So when they transit, again, your Janma Natchatram, your Janma Raasi, or their 8th house from your moon, from your Raasi house. If, for example, Rahu is 8th house away from your Raasi house in transit, if it's transiting right now, if Sunny is giving you 100% malefic, Rahu Kethu will give you about 70%. Rahu more, Kethu will give you the 30%. So Rahu and Kethu, what are they? Let's talk about the planet itself. It's a singular planet broken down into two. And what is that? Why is it a single planet? And how do we think about that? Well, think about the moon, and obviously Rahu Ketu has got some uh, linkage to the moon. In fact, they say that they are the shadow planets. They are the points in the sky. They're not real planets per se. Something to do with the moon. But through my years of research and understanding Rahu, about planets, Rahu Ketu, what I found is that the moon, Earth's natural satellite, always shows one particular side of the moon. We don't see the other side. If we are standing on the surface of the Earth looking at the moon on a night sky, even if it's a Purnami moon, full moon, we always see one side of the moon. This is due to tidal lock between the orbiting influence or the orbiting rate of the Earth and the orbiting rate of the moon. There is a tidal lock system, and it is 1-to-1, meaning that as the Earth spins in orbit, the moon spins in accordance to that orbital rhythm. So we always see the same side of the moon. We don't see the other end of the moon, so that we call it as the dark side of the moon. I mean, that is the colloquial term. The layman's term is the dark side of the moon. So the dark side of the moon that we don't see, that is, if you want to think of it that way, that is Rahu. It is there. It is mysterious. We in the planet Earth, I mean, right now, after 1969, when we have landed on the moon with the lunar module that has landed on the moon with the first man stepping foot there, we know that, I mean, we have actually orbited the moon, and we know there is a dark side. What is the shape? How many asteroids have hit it? Now we have the landscape figured out. I'm talking about the dark side of it. But you have to recall, when the Vedic sciences, the astrological sciences were being created, we actually didn't know what was in the other side of the moon, except for rishis and the seers who actually figured things out. They have had astral travel after their meditation, after their sadhana, and they were able to experience the moon in its full form. Anyway, the dark side of the moon is there. Think of it like we are 3,000 years ago, when we are just figuring out about Vedic astrology and such. So the dark side is there. We do not know what is there. There is a romanticized mystery. The pool of the mystery of it is there. And we know that since it's dark, it's all pervading like space. Space is all pervading. Space is dark. Only speckles of light that from the Earth, we know as stars. We see them as stars. The seers and all know that sometimes those specks of stars, they are like 1,000,000 times bigger than our own sun. But from where we are standing, the layman or the common person would see it as just a star, just a dot, bright, luminous dot in the sky, and we think it's only so big because of the distance and such. But I only see like a dot, a pale blue dot, maybe, and so it's small and all that. But vastness of space is basically dark, more than the cumulative light of stars. More than that is darkness. So Rahu, beyond the moon, the dark side of the moon, including the vast darkness of space, we know it as Rahu. Rahu is infinite in that sense, darkness infinite. Now, why is that not as great as Sunny's infinite darkness? But why Sunny is a singular planet, Saturn, the planet Saturn, yet it gives 100% malefic effect more than Rahu Ketu. Well, that is a whole different video for that. But in a single line, if you want me to say it, it's just that Sunny is a single planet. There is no dark side, bright side. It's single, obviously, with the light of the sun touching it. what we see from the earth, and including the seers, we know that we have given Sunny to be the Karagan of karma. Everyone's karma is being let loose like a floodgate by Sunny. Rahu is not given the task of touching with your karma. That is one important point. What Rahu does has got nothing to do with karma. Rahu is like a court jester. He's like the clown. Okay, he pokes. He's curious. He pokes to see what. He doesn't poke with what. He's not taking your past life karma or your previous karma, and because of that, he's poking you. No, this is his own curiosity as to what your character is, what you will do. Sunny is not about character. He's not curious and all. Sunny is a hard worker. He's like a slaving executive who does what he is told. So what he is told, give this person during Ashtama Sunny, give this person this effect with finance, because why? 4 lifetimes ago, this person cheated someone else of money. And because of that, that person and the entire family had to suicide because they can't get through life. Family of farmers, maybe. Because of that, you are going through. Yeah, so Sunny is just an executor. He executes orders. Orders by what? Orders by the divine network of karmic wheel. Okay, so the one planet is given that task. That's a full-time job. 24/7 Sunny does it for different aspects, for different natives when they are going through Ashtama Sunny, Janma Sunny. Anyway, coming back to this story about Rahu Kethu. Rahu is the dark planet, curious planet. He's like a curious child. Tell that child, don't do something. That's when he or she wants to do it. Don't go and touch that. That's, oh, why I shouldn't touch that? Must be something really exciting. That is why the more forbidden it is, the more exciting it is for Rahu. So he pokes and prunes and wants to see, squeezes you, wants to see how you react, how you respond. Even sometimes he gives you an abundance of goodness, like winning the lottery. That's Rahu. And to see what you'll do about it. You win $25 million, let's say. Oh, anything given without a stage of progress. You didn't make 1 million this year, next year 2 million through business. I mean, if you make 25 million by doing nothing, just went and bought a lottery ticket and you won jackpot prize, first prize. That is Rahu. And all of a sudden you cannot comprehend what to do. Your mind goes all over the place. You buy unnecessary things, spend unnecessarily. Also, you have cast your net very wide, buying things that you shouldn't or cannot comprehend. You shouldn't handle it. It's kind of like giving someone who is not exercising, is not into fitness, doesn't go into gym. You throw 100-kilogram worth of barbell to that person, ask him to lift. In mid-air, ask him to catch and lift, him or her. The damage that's going to happen in a second. What was supposed to be good, just to see how you respond and experience that, how you move around with that. It's better sometimes not to have it. Better to just walk instead of walking like a real tough guy and someone throws a dumbbell with that amount of weight, 100 kilos maybe. And what you portray to be true when it doesn't happen. So damage is done. Irreversible, irreparable damage sometimes, which was worse than before you got the thing. That's what Rahu does. But sometimes he gives you abundance of goodness and it matches your Janma characteristics, your Raasi characteristics. Remember, Raasi is different from Lagna because Raasi, where the moon is placed, that is your mind, your mental framework about how you view your life. Like I always say, Lagna, sometimes your Lagna depicts on certain Dasa Bhukti, you might become a prime minister, a president of a country. But your Raasi is the one that tells you what kind of a president you'll be, what kind of a prime minister. Grounded, straight. I know what needs to happen. I know what I can and cannot do. What I cannot do, I need advisors around me to, push me along, to advise me about what's happening in the world. But if you are the kind of a person who thinks I know everything, everyone else is stupid. You and I would know at least one person in our lives who are like that. They think they know everything. And that is shown in the Raasi placement, the moon placement, Chandra placement in the chart. And what kind of a president or prime minister you'll be? And we know some prime ministers, presidents, we wonder how the hell did they even become that? But that's how it is. So that is Lagna is destiny. Raasi is how you will behave with your destiny, how your mind moves around with this. It fluctuates with it steadily poised or not. Rahu plays with the moon a lot, the mind a lot, more than your Lagnam. Rahu Kethu plays around with the mind, Raasi. Remember, this Rahu Kethu pair is more for. It's not more for. It is only through the transit based on your Raasi house, based on where your moon is placed, including I'm going to talk about Jupiter. So Rahu Kethu, Rahu is moving to from Rishabham, from Taurus, moving to Mesham, Aries, and similarly, 7th house away. So it's a single planet, like I said, dark side of the moon and the bright side of the moon split into two, if you can think of it that way. So naturally, they'll be opposite each other. From Rishabham is where Rahu is currently. Is going to switch over to Mesham. They go in reverse order than the other planets. Similarly, Ketu is in Scorpio, going into Libra. So that is the movement that's going to happen on 12th of April. So 3 Rasis would immediately benefit from this movement. And they are Rishabham itself, because currently it is sitting on the Janma Nakshatram of the 3 stars in Rishabham, which is Kartigai, Kritigai, Mirgashirsham, and Rohini. Rahu is there. He's going to go away. So the moment a dark planet, a malefic planet, steps away from your Raasi, steps away from your mind, your mental framework becomes clearer. Your mind becomes clearer. You're able to think more sharply. You're able to think good thoughts. Nowadays, when you are seated down for your sadhana, for example, or you go to the temple or a place where you should have positive thoughts, at least not negative thoughts, at least a neutral thoughts, but your mind is pulled negatively. Why? Rahu is doing its thing. Rahu is doing its poking, probing, pushing you to the edge. Rahu is all about the extremes of life, extremes of thoughts that is deemed to be taboo. You shouldn't even have those thoughts. Rahu is that. So Rishabham is one of the first planets, one of the first Rasis to get the good graces of the transit. The next one is Midunam, those who are going through Ashtama Sani now, Miduna Rasi natives. Good for Miduna Rasi, Gemini natives. Why? Although Sani is still doing its thing till end of the year, till actually 23rd January 2023, next year. Sani, Ashtama Sani effect is still there for Miduna Rasi. Excuse me. But currently, where Rahu is placed, and Rahu has got more influence than Ketu, as I've mentioned earlier. Rahu is in the 12th house from Miduna Rasi. 12th house, house of losses. Rahu is sitting there, moving away from 12th, going to 11th, house number 11, which is Mesha. House of losses, 12th house. You've got a dark planet there. 8th house, you already got Sunny. 8 and 12 is 6, 8, and 12. They are the Dustana houses, right? So 8 and 12, you've got already two of the more influentially malefic planets there. So Ashtama Sani experiences Midhuna Rasi, of course, right now. What you're experiencing a lot of losses. Okay, a lot of losses in terms of what? Rishabham, where Rahu is sitting. Rishabham, the owner is Sukran, Venus. The fine things of life, the artistic things of life, fine food, paintings, good looks. You don't have good looks. You're growing a beard now, for males, of course. You're darker now. You look haggard. You look old. Now Rahu is moving away on the 12th of April. You will look, your skin will be starting to look fairer, complexion improving. You are now able to see and appreciate beauty, finer things, artistic things. A painting now stands out to you. Ashtama Sani, in the past 18 months, at least you are not appreciative of the beautiful things. The sunrise, the sunset with all the magical colors out in the sky doesn't interest you at all. Now it will interest you. At least that is one part of it. The other part is at least that it's moving away from house of losses. You didn't have a job, Mithuna Rasi natives. Most of y'all didn't have a job, or your business wasn't moving smoothly, and you had a lot, and you've incurred losses. At least now, after the movement, you're still having financial difficulties, but you don't. You are making money, you are spending money. It is now zero, plus and minus. It has now become neutral. Previously, the past 18 months, there was more losses, so you are going negatively. Now you have come down to a negative this one, but you're not going any lower than this after the transit. Losses are not there, but you're not making gains either until you are fully cleared of Ashtama Sani. Okay, at least there's no further losses. That itself is a blessing. So your last 10 months, 9 months of running Ashtama Sani is okay, manageable. At least your thought is it's gearing towards coming out of Ashtama Sani. Much more so than what has happened in the past 2 years, 20 months to be exact. Okay, that is Mithuna Rasi. The next, the third Rasi will benefit greatly with the Rahu Kethu transit is Tulam, Libra, because 8th house from Tulam, Libra, is where Rahu is in Rishabham currently. It is moving to the 7th house, to Mesan. So 8th house, house of enemies, house of diseases. Okay, and if you're a female woman, you had female issues, Rahu would prick on that. Feminine issues, you are not getting, menstrual cycle has been disrupted, periods are not coming proper, you are unable to conceive, feminine wise, you're looking a bit older, haggard, gray hair loss, hair is becoming thinner, darker shade than normal. Skin around the face, you're having black spots, small spots appearing, black or red spots, dark maroon spots are coming up. It's all going to clear. That's the external. Internal, this is for males and females of Libra natives, Tulam natives. So if your Rasi is in Tulam, this is what's going to happen. Enemies, you've had a lot of enemies in the sense of business partners, people at work who are unappreciative of you, not only unappreciative of you, even your own boss or team lead, colleagues, people in your team and all, they were hijacking your progress. You would have done all the work, but they will get all the names. Your communication has been disrupted because from 8th house, Rahu has got a nexus with Ketu. From 8th house of Rasi, house of enemies, it is influenced your 2nd house from your Rasi, which is house of communication. So you're unable to come. You would have done the work, but you do not know how to tell your boss you have done the work. Someone else will take the good name and rise up. You would have experienced this, not anymore. After the transit on 12th of April, you would have vanquished, or at least you would have triumphed over your enemies, your enemies is in a broad context, over people who have challenged you, who have caused you a hard time for growth. Could be family members, relatives, friends, business partners, colleagues. So that would go, and that itself is a huge relief for you, Tulam Rasi natives. And health would improve. You'll feel better. You'll have a better flow of liquid within your body. Liquid, take it in whatever form, blood, the female systems, male systems, you know what I mean. Digestive tract, anything where liquid and fluids are involved, that will become better. So, and health will improve. So, Rishabha Rasi, Mithuna Rasi, Tulam Rasi. These three immediate good effects of the transit. And then together with the movement of Jupiter on 14th of April, which is Tamil New Year, as I mentioned, or around the time of Tamil New Year. Well, so Jupiter is going to Meenam, back to its own house. So Jupiter is very comfortable. For the past 20 plus months, it's been in Sunny's house. It's neutral with Sunny, but Sunny is back in its own house as well in Magaram. So Sunny has become strong, which made its two houses, Magaram and Kumbham, strong, malefically strong. And because of that, Guru could not help give its positive. Guru is the most positive planet, but it couldn't do its thing. It's like, you have caged up a fairy. The fairy itself is good, but because it's in a cage, it can't do its thing. Now it's coming out of the cage. I'm just using a metaphor, right? So it's coming out of its cage, going back to its own house, and we are all comfortable in our own house. Since we are comfortable, we can do our best in irradiating our positive energies around. So that's what Guru is going to do. So based on your Laknam and your Rasi, whatever Dasa Bhukti you're running, see whether Guru Dasa, Guru Bhukti is happening for you, even Guru Antaram, sub period. If that is happening for you, good. Depending on what Meenam is, what house, what bhava for you is in your birth chart. If you want to know that, please reach out to me and I will be more than happy to analyze and talk to you about your chart. Details are as below. So these three houses, Rahu Kethu would benefit. Which houses are not going to be beneficial? Which are going to get kind of worse with the transit, Rahu Kethu transit. First off, Mesham itself is going to be influenced because now it is Rahu is coming to the Janma Rasi of Mesham for those who are born, who are Mesha Rasi, of course. So what's going to happen? Mesham itself is owned by, the owner is Mars, Savai, and that's a strong Mars, a masculine Mars, a forest fire kind of Mars, huge. And now you have a dark planet going over there, a dark planet who is inquisitive, who is curious like a child. And if you give to such an inquisitive child the power of a forest fire, ability to ignite a forest fire, so what do you expect to happen? And you've got three nakshatras in Mesham, which is Ashwini, Bharani, and Kritige. Ashwini is owned by, the owner is Ketu, Bharani is Venus, Kritige or Kartige is Suryan, the sun. So the middle one, Venus, Bharani, well, in that house, Mesham for Bharani, women, Venus is a feminine trait planet. So for Bharani, it will first poke on spouse, right? This I'm talking about for males who are husbands, so it will cause major disruption with your married life, with your spouse, miscommunication, misunderstanding in a huge scale. Why? Forest fire kind of a effect. Right? Maybe you would stay away, forced to go overseas out of outstation to a different state to work and all, and forever fighting every day and all that. So that would be the first thing. Second thing in Ashwini. Okay, no, let's talk about Kartige. Kartige, which is Suryan. So you've got one padam there, the rest of the padams are in Rishabham, the next house. So the first padam, only one of that is there. So if you happen to be born in Kartige first pada, that's where your Raasi is, your moon is there. So what's going to happen? Suryan, government, king, government, leader, father. Remember, this is Mesham, very, very masculine one. So you would have a tug of war with your father, with the government, with the legal systems, bosses, anyone who is of authority to you, who has got the capability. That person has got, can be a female boss, females also, not just persons of authority who are males. Anyone who can give you a hard time legally and all that, because they've got authority over you, don't mess with them. Don't go against them. Especially if you're wrong, be humble and accept that, yeah, I may have been wrong. I may be on the wrong side. I made a mistake. It's okay. Let it slide. With this Rahu sitting around in that house, it's not worth a fight. Then finally, you've got Ashwini, Ketu is there. So that will take, so every 18 months, Rahu Ketu will be in a house for 18 months, I mean. So since it's going in retrograde, the first 4 padas of Mesham, which is Ashwini, that'll happen in the last 7 months next year for the Payaching, and that influence would take the form of changes, very quick changes, drastic changes, because Mesham, Mars is a quick planet, Mesham is even more quicker. So you would have the tendency to do things quick. Like what? Quick, like what? Quick money, stock exchange. Don't. Quick money like Forex, things like buying NFTs. If you don't understand it, don't get into it. You'll be mesmerized by it. Friends are doing it, making money. They bought a BMW recently, Jaguar and all that. So easy. Let's do it. Park some money, $100,000. Yeah, that's it. Don't do that. So Rahu is going to Janma Raasi for Mesham. If you are Mesha Raasi, you have to be careful. Also, if you are the native of Virgo, Kanya Raasi. Yeah, so then Rahu is going to your 8th house, Ashtama Rahu, if you want to use that word. So again, whatever Tulam Raasi natives have been experiencing, enemies, disease, losses, you will experience it now slowly. It'll peak at the middle of the 10th month after the transit. So sometime in November, December this year, you will have heavy losses. So be prepared for that. You have some savings. Don't touch that now. Keep it. See how you go. Anyway, again, we will look more. It is different for each of them who are Virgo, Kanya Raasi. Depending on which year you were born, depending on the placement, your entire birth chart, your Raasi chart must be looked at. Okay, this is just for transit calculations, transit depiction of what's going to happen. Depends heavily on your Lagna, depends heavily on your Dasa Bhukti, depends heavily on, for example, it's going to Mesham. Owner is Mars. You have to look at your birth chart where Mars is. Is it positive? Is it negative? Has it got a drishti of a positive or negative planet? Is it ucham, nicham? Is it exalted, debilitated? Right? Has it lost its energy or it's got very potent energy? All of this you have to see. You cannot directly say such a thing. The only thing this is, it gives you a potent mindset. It influences your mind. A transit influences the mind. Anyway, so for the others, like Suryan, like Kumbham, right? Dhanusu Raasi and all. So what about them? Well, Rahu Ketu Perchi, well, we we have to go through them one by one, depending on, because Rahu Ketu itself doesn't have its own houses, right? So there's no way to calculate, like, for example, I can say for Jupiter is going back to its own house, but Rahu Ketu doesn't go back to its own house. It doesn't own its own house. So in an overarching form, what I can tell you is it's going, Rahu, I say I'm more interested in Rahu because that's much more malefic. So Rahu is going to Mesham, Aries. Obviously, we have to see where the owner of Aries, Mars, is placed. And there is no direct answer to give that transit is going to do this for the other Rasis. Negatively, I can tell you the Janma Rasi of Mesham, what Tulam Rasi, that's going to be influenced to an extent. To an extent, I can also say that slowly towards the end, Meenam would have some effect of Rahu as it's becoming closer to Meenam, to Pisces, but that's next year. So I'll talk about it at that time. For the others, if you're curious about your own Rasi house, which I've never touched about, like I said, Dhanusu, Kumbham, and all that, well, reach out to me, leave a comment below, or reach out to me in my email, in my mobile. I've got the details below, also in the channel's description. So we'll talk more then. That'll be more in-depth, personalized. Like I said, one particular planet cannot give you the entirety of what you're going to experience, except there is an exception. Sani. Ashtama Sani, Janma Sani, it will do its thing. It will suspend your good dasa bhukti. If you're going through a good dasa bhukti, it'll suspend that. It'll do its thing. Rahu Ketu Perchi, it'll do half and half. It'll allow some of your dasa bhukti's energies to come through. If it's negative dasa bhukti, also it'll allow. If it's positive, also it'll allow. So depending on which dasa bhukti you're going through, that's your timetable. That's your lives, your karmic timetable. Dasa bhukti, main period, dasa bhukti sub period, and then you've got sub period, which is your andram. Which planet has come to dominate at that time? That planet, character, effect, placement, house, bhava, what bhava that planet displays, all that effect will come into play. So there's no one answer to fit all, except for the ones that I spoke about, those Rasi that I've spoken about, the good and the bad. The ones who are coming out of the influence of Rahu and the ones who are going to experience the influence of Rahu. So in a way, I guess that's the reason of this video. I will talk about other subjects now. I've got time again. I'll talk about other subjects soon. My other videos, do keep a lookout for what I'm uploading. Other than that, again, leave a comment, leave your views, questions, feedback, everything is welcome. And I hope you keep safe, stay healthy, do sadhana, help people. Those are natural remedies. Any remedy of astrology has to be free. That's what I believe. There's nothing that you shouldn't buy jewelry, you shouldn't buy gemstones, you shouldn't buy things of a particular color, metal, and all that. There are exceptions. I do give some remedy answers to my clients. That's like 1% of my clients, and everyone knows who have been clients of mine. They know that I don't believe in remedies per se. You have to go through your karma. It's easy to create karma and hurt others. When you're hurting others, you experience maybe the good of the situation. Maybe you cheated someone of money. You have got money in your bank account, for example, but the one who is cheated has got to go through the negative effect for a long time, sometimes years or decades. And you are not privy to that. You are not aware of that. That karma has to be repaid. You have to repay it. Remedies are not going to cut it. Okay, so I'm a bit more modern in my astrological reading. I crunch it and give you all in English, in a standardized English, easy to understand language and such, but I'm not. And one thing I know is that remedies per se, I tried most of them. I researched on them. No, it doesn't work. It shouldn't work because karma cannot be left floating around. It has to be burnt in its entirety. And the only person who can do the burning is you, the one who created it. Pavam. Yeah? Pavam has to be cleansed, cleared, burnt in its entirety. Or it'll just keep following you. Sunny will make sure that it follows you. Anyway, be safe, keep in touch, and I will talk to you all again soon. Thank you, everyone.